last top on this big old walnut. Put it right in there. Yeah. Sweet. I ain't as good as I once was, but I was good once, as good as I ever was. You know, if I ain't singing or whistling in a tree, then we may have a problem. Hey, what's going on, Climber Nation? Patrick here. Wanted to show you just a really basic canopy anchor slash spar anchor. This is for SRT. Again, super basic. Basically, this concept is choking the rope off on the stem, tying an alpine butterfly, and using a piece of hardware to capture the working end of the rope. So in this setup, my favorite piece of hardware for this kind of setup is called a Singing Tree Quickie. So it's a specially designed type of clevis shackle with a special pin. It's called a slick pin. So the slick pin has embedded cotter pins in it. Okay, so there's the slick pin. So you can see how I tied up an alpine butterfly, and then I put the quickie on there to capture my line. Right, so this is retrievable using the tail of my line. So at this point, I just topped the tree out, and I'm going to drop down probably about 12 feet or so, about 4 meters. I'm just going to drop down to the next spot, and I'm going to cut one more chunk, and then from there I'm going to descend all the way to the ground. Okay, so I set it up with enough tail to reach, you know, to the next position down. Normally on something like this, I would take my lanyard off and just descend pretty quickly. I don't know why I did it like this, but I just kept my lanyard on and came down nice and slow. Alright, so you can see the tail there, where it ends there.
One cut. One cut. One cut.
Right, so I'm down to my next position. Now I'm going to pull this anchor setup back to me. So the way that I do that is from my climbing system, I introduce slack by letting off my climbing system. At the same time, I'm pulling on that tail. Right, so I'm doing two things at once using both hands. I'm slacking off my climbing system, and I'm pulling the tail down, and that allows the entire thing to come back down to me. Okay, so here's the Singing Tree Quickie again. You have it has a double cotter pin, so you have to release both cotter pins on the one side to open it, but it's still not open totally. You have to release it again on the inside to be able to get the rope out. So here you see me untying the butterfly. If I was only going to drop down another, 12 foot,
so I'm just gonna
I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have untied the butterfly. I would have just pulled it back.
pull out my anchor here.
If that makes sense.
Pull it back down. Set it up so that I can go from here all the way to the ground.
Yeah, so here I'm going to set it up the same as I just did the first time, but this time I'm going to set it up with a tail that's long enough to reach the ground. So again, I need to pull out.
It's just going to be choked off.
I need to pull out a ton of slack so that the tail end can reach the ground.
An alpine butterfly. So you just got to make sure that you can see that tail is close enough to the ground that you can grab it.
Right.
So, right there. Right there should be close enough. So, alpine butterfly. Got a quickie here. So when I put the quickie on, I want to make sure that the pin side is away from the tree. So I'm going to put it on like this. Like that. So the running side of the rope is going to be on the round pin here. This is the side with my climbing system. And the slick pin, cotter pin portion is on the outside away from the tree, like that. So that's just a really, really basic canopy anchor setup with a piece of hardware, alpine butterfly and a quickie. So using that, I can descend all the way to the ground after I make this last cut.
Right, so the reason that the quickie is preferred over a carabiner in a situation like this is the quickie isn't subject to the side loading issues that carabiners are.
But it's difficult because the angle, it's hard, you can't tell on, it's hard to tell on the video I guess, but the tree comes up and then it goes, so I'm way out of the vertical here, so I'm trying to reach around all the way around here to make this cut.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to explain that it's really difficult to tell on a helmet cam, like relative distance and angles. So
okay, so that's with my lanyard and an axe.
So when you're hanging out of plumb, you're always trying to set yourself up in such a way that you're not fighting so hard against gravity.
Whatever.
So this is one option here as I put my lanyard in an X. Sometimes that can really help. Oh. That's brutal when you try to drop start a big saw in a tree and it doesn't go. That's why for the groundies out there, if you're going to send up a big saw to a climber, never send it up cold. Always make sure that it's warm. It's just one pull away from starting. Trust me on this. Alright. This is an interesting moment coming up here. If you guys have read the fundamentals, you know the rule of 1/5. I've talked about it before.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sometimes, oh, that's a damn good cut. Sometimes, if you don't laugh, you probably just cry, you know?
So yeah, that was the opposite of the rule of 1/5, where, you know, if it was 1/5 of the total height of the stem, it would have landed flat. It landed perfectly vertical, stuck in the ground. Now this was a case where I just didn't care. This is a new home being built in this lot here, and it didn't matter. I was just going fast, but it's just funny to watch. It's a total amateur move, right? So anyway, hopefully you guys can get some value out of this, and hopefully you understand and this makes sense, like this concept of this this canopy anchor, basic SRT canopy anchor / Spar anchor setup with an alpine butterfly and a piece of hardware. like a Singing Tree Quickie. All right, so hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think. And until next time, fist bump. Careful there, Alex.